Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Apex Racing TV, and welcome back to the Apex Racing League Prototypes Championship. We are here for the fourth round of the championship live from Spa-Francorchamps. A pleasure to bring you the live action as always. My name is Jack Canan, Dane Baird, alongside me and Marco Barbonero, working hard in the production booth to bring us these lovely live pictures of Spa-Francorchamps. An iconic circuit, everyone loves Spa. We're at Le Mans last week, but today we head over to Belgium, just a short hop across the border into Belgium, and to one of the most iconic circuits on the calendar in F1 in multiple series, and as well when we go to endurance racing for the 6 hours of Spa. But we're looking now at the championship standings, Dane, and it's getting a little bit closer. Alex Salmon's still leading it, but Lennart Raart, 2 wins in a row, he's closing in.
Yeah, Lennart Raart, of course, with that really impressive move at Le Mans last week and taking the win there, redemption after a disappointing first half of the season. But yeah, he's back up at the top, and you can see Lewis Woods as well right up there. Those three been battling for the top 3 positions in pretty much every single race so far. Of course, Lennart Raart missing the first round, missing the start for the first round with technical issues, which wasn't the best start to the season. But of course, with only 2 rounds to go, this one and the next one in the 6-round series, we have one drop week as well, so those standings could look very different by the end of next week, when we will be able to crown 4 champions with 4 classes, P1 Pro and now P1 Am with Mateusz Drozda. That's even closer at the top. Only, 8 points separating them, and then a further 8 points back to third, who is Daniel Sivisavo. And then a couple more points in Flavio Ferguccio in 4th and Arias Diamantis in 5th. Those two only separated by 1 point. And then Matt James down with 20 points. But here's the big grid then, P2 Pro. A huge grid for this one. And Michele Costantini was a no-show for last week at Le Mans, but means he's dropped down to only to third. And he's only, 8 points off the lead in P2 Pro, despite missing a round already.
Yeah, only 8 points between the top 3. Jakub Viderka taking that P2 Pro Championship lead. A couple of points behind him, teammate Maciej Mlinek, and Costantini now in third in the championship. So that's a very close fight in LMP2 Pro, which is exactly what we want to see. So it's close in every championship. LMP1 Pro was kind of the most spread out one. P1 Am, after Loki Brown's win last week, he's managing to close the gap. And here then, P2 Am also a little bit spread out. You can see Tim Perry still leading that championship there. He's got a nice gap there back to Alex Moore, who's on 101, Tim Perry on 134, and then 9 points back to Kevin Kittelman in third in that one, then a further 10 back to Shane Dunn in 4th place. So a little bit more spread out in P2 Am, but of course anything can change very, very quickly in this one. So we've got plenty to keep our eye on, but Alex Salmon still leading the P1 Am, P1 Pro standing, and Lennart Raart closing it in a little bit now as we head into the last 2 rounds, this one and next week's, of course. Of course, round 5, this one, correcting myself earlier, for is round 5. As we're in qualifying at the moment, of course. The drivers get 10 minutes or 4 laps, whichever they complete first. Mateusz Drozda, funnily enough, is currently the fastest, but Alex Salmon takes that away from him on a 50.655. Mateusz Drozda on pole at the moment in the P1 Am category. Arias Diamantis on the front row as well. Then it's Hutchinson and Raart in third. And at the moment, it's Daniel Bucher on the pole for the P1 Pro, P2 Pro category, and Tim Perry currently leading the P2 Am category as well. We're looking at Jos Baumeister as he heads down towards down the Kemmel Straight in towards Lake Com. And what you can't really see from these kind of camera angles is that this is all uphill drag. There's a big uphill drag into the break-ins off at Lake Com. Jakub Viderka, he currently takes pole for the P2 Pro category. Daniel Bucher and Matteo Graziano in 3rd place. Not far off Daniel Bucher there. Much shorter lap than we had last time out. Riding on board now with Mark Hutchinson and, Lennart Raart, who was our double winner, of course, over the past 2 weeks. He's won in Le Mans and he's won in Road America as well. So he's looking to try and take 3 in a row, close the gap to Alex Salmon even more heading into the final round as he comes through. Blanchimont takes it flat, no issue in these LMP1 machines. He's, of course, in the Porsche, and he's gone purple, purple, purple. So it looks like this could be our new benchmark time for Leonard Rart as he comes across the start-finish line to, I would imagine, to improve his time. He goes to second, but only a tenth of a second off of Alex Salmon. So very, very close. Ishmael Yakubu, he comes across the line now to put himself up to second, only 200ths off of Alex Salmon. Very, very close around such a lap like this, 1 minute 50 lap. But we always, Dane, obviously plenty of us have driven Spa many, many times, and the thing with qualifying is that Spa is notorious for the track limits, especially around Blanchimont.
Yep, one of the most strict track limits on circuits on iRacing. Interesting enough, we get loads of complaints in the iRacing community about the track limits here. And then Hockenheim was just released, fantastic track, absolutely love it. iRacing did a great job with it. And the track limits there are quite lenient, they're exactly how they are in the real world. And yet there we get people complaining that there's too lenient. So iRacing can't please anyone, it seems. But yeah, track limits at Spa definitely very strict, very easy to get an off track, and when you get an off track, that's your qualifying lap gone. So it's very important for drivers to stay on the track. So Lewis Woods goes to provisional pole with a 150.626, again only 200ths of a second ahead of Salmon. But Salmon, is he at the end of a lap? He is. I think he might just be starting a new lap. Yes, he is. So let's see what Salmon can do.
Less than a tenth between our top three. Lewis Woods 200ths in front of Alex Salmon. Ishmael Yakubu is third, and Leonard Rart 2/10 further back in the Porsche. It is an Audi track around here, so the Audi is going to be stronger by the looks of it. We ride up Eau Rouge and rally on with Alex Salmon over the top right here. We had a shot of Jakob Viderka heading into Eau Rouge there, and the sheer speed they carry through here is unbelievable. Sixth gear now, and down into the braking for Lake Calm, using the curb to get back to the left once again. Really lots of speed carried through there, keeping the foot planted on the way down towards Brussels, onto the brakes, knocking it down the gears into second for a moment, then up through the gears again down towards No Name, using the curb here, flicking back to the left hand side again, and now heading down towards Pouon. This is a fantastic corner, but very scary. Into the left hander he goes. Careful not to get too much understeer. He uses all of the road as much as he can, and down towards the Lafania chicane. Exit to the right over here, trying to keep it, not to use too much of the curb right there. Back to the left again. It's wonderful when you get it right, and then using all the curb on the right hand side, then down in towards Paul Frere. And flicking it back to the right side now, the run towards Blanchimont, which is he gets to relax for a little bit here, using the boost a little bit there in the Audi, and that'll give him a little bit of extra horsepower. Now towards Blanchimont he goes. See it completely flat now, careful not to run too wide, keeps it well off the curb there, Alex Salmon, and then onto the brakes for the bus stop chicane. Getting it stopped nicely, getting now on the power as early as he can. It looks like it might be an improvement. We'll wait to see. Alex Salmon across the line. Does he go to provisional pole here in Spa? The answer is no, he's not able to improve. He stays in second place for now, and that will be his qualifying over and done with. Lewis Woods is not going to come out again. Loki Brown second in P1 AM. Then Mark Hutchison just pops in front of him there for overall, but Loki Brown, who is fighting for this championship now versus Mateusz Drozda. Across the line comes Loki Brown now. Does he manage to improve his time across the start finish? Yes, he does, but not enough to take pole here. Here comes Leonard Rart. Can he snatch a pole here in Spa across the start finish line? Yes, he can. 150.3, goes 2/10 faster. Ishmael Yakubu across the line. Can he do it? Can he displace Leonard Rart? No, he can't. 300ths at the end. But Leonard Rart has pulled a fantastic lap out of nowhere to take pole here in Spa in the Porsche, and that is a surprise in this one ahead of all the Audis, but that's exactly what he needs to do, Dane.
And in the nick of time as well, because as you can see, just about qualifying finish then, and the drivers will start gridding up, and here are the qualifying results. Then it was a 2/10 gap between himself and Lewis Woods, and then Ishmael Yakubu with 300ths of a second just about off of his teammate there. Top three all RLR Abruzzi Esports, and then Alex Salmon in 4th, Hugo Valentin in 5th, and then Mark Hutchinson just over a second back in 6th.
And here is your P1 AM qualifying results. They're very close as Mateusz Drozda ahead of Loki Brown by a 1/10 of a second. Daniel Civizabo is 3rd. Arias Yamantis in 4th. Flavio Figuccio and Matt James round out the P1 AM field. P2 Pro then, no sign of Michele Constantinis. This is still wide open in this title fight. It's Jakub Viderka, the championship leader, who's on pole. Matteo Graziano 2nd, Daniel Bucher 3rd, Mark Zuidhoff in 4th, and Maciek Mlinek in 5th. Then Zeb Teunissen, James Holman, Marcel Van Den, Christoph Skorupski, Arkadiusz Neumann, David Ward, Bruno Aguirre, Luke Pennington, Brian Cavito, and Matteo Calistani, who obviously has a qualifying ban. And then P2 AM, Tim Perry, championship leader, leading this one ahead of Corey Edwards in 2nd. Jason Maracal is 3rd. Kevin Kittleman, Jonathan Keane, and Alex Moore, who's 2nd in the championship, but he's down in 6th. Michael Seal, Marcel Leclerc, Jackson Bell, Charles Collignon, Joost Baumeister, Craig Jones, Nathan Healy, Sasha Lowe, and then Shane Dunn and Ryan Epperingham not setting time, so obviously a qualifying ban for them as well. Now, sitting on the grid, it's rolling starts, of course. And Dane, nice to see the pace truck back.
Absolutely, it's great to see it. And you can just see it riding on board with Leonard Rart.
Look at
and
the
you can
size
see
of it.
You can actually look up. Looking on board, I think that was Yakubu that we just switched to there. You could barely see it out of the cockpit because the view is so limited in those LMP machines that you can barely see it.
It's wonderful. I mean, it's great to see. Usually the pace truck's reserved for the dirt ovals, but we like to see it. This is our signature here at Apex Racing League. We like to just throw a spanner in the works here and put the pace truck out. It deserves a chance, you know. It never really gets the big spotlight in these big endurance events or these road racing events, but great to see it out on the track. But it's Leonard Rart on the pole, Ishmael Yakubu next to him, Lewis Woods and Alex Salmon next to each other on the second row. And it's going to be interesting to see how this fight is going to go. Remember the fight that we had last week at Le Mans. This is going to be great to watch. Pace truck will peel off to the right hand side, then Leonard Rart, he will get to control it until we get to the restart zone. And now just got to wait to see when he is going to release that Porsche across over the start finish. Green flag waves here at Spa, and look at the start. You can see one of them had to back off there. I think that was Alex Salmon, went a bit too early and backed off as they head into Lost Source for the first time. Leonard Rart leads, Yakubu into 3rd. Drozda, oh, there's a spin behind. Alex Salmon is around, championship leader, around in Lost Source, drops to the back of the field, the back of the LMP1 field at least, as they come up to Eau Rouge and Radion for the first time. Hugo Valentin side by side with Zabo and Hutchinson up Eau Rouge. That time they managed to come out unscathed, but disaster for Alex Salmon getting punted around. The start of P2 Pro as well. Jakub Viderka leads them away. Daniel Bucher, good start from him as they come into the braking zone for Last Source for the first time. As it comes to the inside, you can see Graziano losing the position through Last Source there and down towards Eau Rouge and Radion for the first time. Side by side between Graziano and Bucher and between Zuidhoff and Mlinek as they head up Eau Rouge and Radion for the first time. Slots in front does Zuidhoff there ahead of Maciek Mlinek. But as we come up the order now, you can see that Lewis Woods is your new leader, by the way. He's taken the lead in this one, and Loki Brown to the lead of P1 AM, but a disaster for Alex Salmon. Dane punted around in Last Source immediately.
Yeah, definitely not the start he was hoping for. 5 seconds back, you can see him in the background of the shot there now. We're looking at Loki Brown with Drozda just behind. The battle for the P1 AM lead with barely anything between the two of them. I think Drozda might be about to make a move there, and you can see further back there's a bit of an incident, and that is a fairly blind corner, so oh dear.
Oh God.
Good.
Okay, that was Maciek Mlinek trying to see who else that is. That is Tim Perry. Tim Perry, championship leader in P1 AM, has been taken out in this one as well. So that is a huge moment in this one as well. Zeb Teunissen was also involved in that one, but Tim Perry, the championship leader in P2 AM, punted around in Brussels. And we'll see if we can maybe get a shot at that as well. Look at this now. He just get caught up. He's just a big stack up, Dane, isn't it? There's nowhere he could really go. It was sandwiched in front, sandwiched behind, and multiple cars taken out in that one.
Yeah, stands on the brakes and does all he can, but yeah, just nowhere for him to go. He can't really turn right, braking as hard as he could. So yeah, it was just really unfortunate for him. to get caught up in that one. I'd like to see what caused that though, because it's a bit of a weird place for such a massive stack up to happen. Who's this? Valentine. He's going to cruise past the AM leaders. And is Drosta going to make a move down the inside into Lacombe? They almost touch. And it's a great defense from Loki Brown. Is he going to be able to hold on to it? He just about does. Cut across as they head down into Raquel. But what a move from Drosta. Fully alongside, but Brown able to hold it around the outside of the first apex and keep the position.
Yeah, really good stuff there. Let's have a look now. This is the instant we saw Maciek Mlinek. Oh, it was just a kind of magnetic car situation. Everyone tried to stack up, but nothing really anyone could do to get out of that one. And Tim Perry just the unfortunate victim in that one. But it was a bit of cars becoming attached and nowhere really for anyone to go. But here's your new leader in P2 AM. It is Jonathan Keane, but crucially, P2 is Alex Moore, the 366. Second in the championship to Tim Perry. He's got a massive opportunity now to bring that gap down and possibly lead the championship heading into the final round, because he had a comfortable gap to Tim Perry of about 33 points heading into this one. This could be a big dent that he could make for Alex Moore. Jason Maracal is third at the moment in class as they head through No Name Corner. James Holman 8th in P2 Pro. He's just trying to make his way back through as they head down into the braking zone for Puon. But it is going to be an interesting one. An hour-long race, of course, if you're unfamiliar, so there will be pit stops. So interesting. Mateusz Drozda dropping behind 2 cars as Flavio Figuccio has a little think about a move there. Mark Hutchinson, he's in the pro class. He's going to try and get back past the both of them here in the Audi. Is he going to have a go up Eau Rouge and Radion? He's going to get a good run, but he's not going to be able to pull alongside there. They run very close together. Up the hill they come for the 3rd time. And now you can see Hutchinson is just going to try his best to get past here. As now we can see Ishmael Yakubu dispatches Leonard Rart and he takes 2nd in the P2. And here comes 3 wide. Is there going to be contact? Drozda almost involved there. Now you can see Figuccio across the grass. But now who's in the wall there? One of them went into the wall. Flavio Figuccio did hit the wall there. And Hutchinson managing to survive. How have they all survived in one piece there? Let's have a quick look at this again. That was... that's about as close as you want to get there. 3 abreast into Lake Holm. You can see Figuccio squeezed to the outside. Drozda gets punted like gets a ping pong. And Hutchinson, I tell you what, that's a great save from Mark Hutchinson. Slams on the brakes and gets a point in the right direction. Figuccio just bouncing across the grass. Oh, that's Hutchinson in the wall, and that is a Puon. And he's gone off in a big way there, Mark Hutchinson. So he's now going to be probably out of this one. Here he comes. Down into Puon. Looks like he's struggling with suspension damage already, Dane. He just gets on. Oh dear, that's a big one. I think he was possibly having rear suspension damage already.
I'd love to see an onboard of that, because that really did look quite weird, weaving around down the straight. It would probably be the first time they would notice any suspension damage. It does look like it, and then up on the grass, there's no way he's saving that at that point. But very weird one, but that grass is deadly in towards Pool, and yeah, once you get on that, there's no saving it at all. Multiple fastest laps. Yakubu, Brown, Sibiasava as well, just beating Brown's time by just about 0.3 of a second there, but yeah, LMP1's getting a move on at the moment.
Yep, and Jakub Viderka, he still leads his class. Daniel Bucher is 2nd, and his championship rival Maciej Mlinek taken out in his instant. Here's Loki Brown, he's under pressure from the Hungarian driver behind him, Daniel Sivizabo, in the 116. Into Lake Holm they come, and Loki Brown, big day for him. He can really start to bring the gap down on Mateusz Drozda, who's running 3rd, and he's leading the championship, of course, is Mateusz Drozda. Loki Brown 2nd in that one, so he can try and make up some good positions. Here's Jonathan Keane leading the P2 AM category. Big scrap here. Jason Maracal trying to go for trying to defend his position. Alex Moore we're on board with now. He just needs to get himself across the line for good points today if he wants to try and bring the gap down to Tim Perry into the final round. But there's a big stack up of LMP2s right here. But Jonathan Keane leads Jason Maracal. Alex Moore 3rd. Jackson Bell is 4th in this one. You can see now, look at all those cars heading through La Source right here. Here is, speak of the devil, there is Tim Perry. He seems to have survived without major damage here, but he's down in 12th. And he's just in front of Charlie, just in front of him actually, 2 cars in front is Maciek Mlinek, who was involved in that instance as well. Charles Collignon is in front of him in the 312. Nathan Healy is behind him. So he's got some work to do now to try and make up the positions, but not what he wanted with the 33-point advantage that he had heading into this round. He's got to try and make up some position, but he still has plenty of time left in this race, so still not all is not lost in this one. You see a move on here, possibly Maciek Mlinek trying to pass Marcel Leclerc there, but he's not able to do it. He's not fighting for a class position here. But here's Lewis Woods, Dane, 2.1 seconds in the lead, looking pretty comfortable.
Yeah, and he's you can see on the track map, he's just catching up to some stragglers in the LMP2 field, and there's also Yamantis as well. It looks like he's made a pit stop potentially for some repairs, because he is quite far down the order. But yeah, Woods coming up to the back of a couple of LMP2 cars, and then he's got quite a bit of a gap still before he'll reach the heavy density of traffic in the LMP2 field. But we've got a bit of a battle going on here for the lead of P1 AM, trying to get past some lapped LMP2 traffic as well. Definitely not easy.
No, absolutely not. And you can see, look at the top 4 in P1 Pro. Laura Brazil Esports the whole way through, and Indy Autosport leading 1 and 2. Of course, Lucky Brown and Daniel Civizabo teammates, and as well Laura Brazil Esports 1 and 2 in P2 Pro as well. We have to go to P2 AM before we see 2 cars that are not the same team leading. It's Cabot Motorsport and Devotion Sim Racing. But a quick update on that Mark Hutchinson crash in Pooh where he went onto the grass. He actually, oh dear, that is Craig Jones, and that is in the bus stop chicane that he's gone around there. So not a good one for Craig Jones. But just a quick update while I have it here. Update on that Mark Hutchinson crash that he had in Pooh. He's actually had a steering wheel failure, so it was a hardware failure rather than suspension damage. Looks like he had an issue with his Fanatec, and that's sent him off into the barrier. So it was a hardware failure rather than the suspension damage.
Yeah, you really do hate to see it. It's sort of sim racing's equivalent of mechanical failure, like an engine failure or something. But yeah, really unfortunate. Those things do happen. Happened to me before. Almost got a ban for it actually. Looks like an intentional wreck. It definitely wasn't. It was just my wheel. Actually, in that case, it was my wheel coming off in my hands, which definitely is something I do not recommend. Probably one of the most scary experiences you could have in sim racing. But yeah, it was. Those things do happen. Very unfortunate for him. But he'll have to come back next week for the finale and make up for it then.
Yeah, he certainly will. Here's Jakub Viderka still leading LMP2 Pro. These guys are still very close together, your top 3. Daniel Bucher is second, about 9/10 behind him, and Matteo Graziano is in third, just behind him. So it's all nice and close. Right now, here is Matteo Calistani. He had a qualifying ban, so he's trying to make his way up through the order. He's up 6 positions from where is 6 positions in class, that'll be, from where he started. So he's done a nice job right there to get himself up through the order a little bit. And let's go back to this fight right now. This is Luke Pennington. He's caught up now with the lead battle for P2 AM. You can see Jonathan Keane and Jason Marical are your leaders in P2 AM. So Luke Pennington is caught up in the middle of this as well. So he's not fighting for position necessarily, but doesn't want to get passed by the AM guys here. As oh dear, Alex Moore is in the pit lane. So that could be a big chance to try and gain points on Tim Perry. Out the window. So Tim Perry might have been gifted a little bit here. So Alex Moore's in the pit lane, so that's not good for him. As we now are right on board, Jonathan Keane going to go for a move here on Luke Pennington, going to go for it. Look at the slipstream Marical gets as well. Where's he going to go? Inside line. He's going to get a bit tight as they head into Lake Como. He has to back out of it. That was nearly a big smash for Jason Marical, but he manages to just about get out of it there. A bit scary into Lake Como, but you can see there the slipstream effect right now, as we're going to have a look now. Alex Moore, who is now unfortunately pit lane, and he has lost his big chance to try and gain points on Tim Perry, who is our leader. You can see him just trundling around and had to trundle back to pit lane, and Tim Perry now has a big chance as we go back to this is Alex Salmon up the around the outside of No Name, does contact, and there's going to be a smash there. Alex Salmon makes it through. Hugo Valentin tried to hang around the outside of No Name. They both survive. Alex Salmon's into 4th now, but that was close, very, very close to being a very big accident. Let's have a quick look at this again. You can see Valentin, he went to the outside line. Salmon goes for it here on the inside line and just gets a little tap as he came through there, but he did well to keep it out of the wall, but loses the position as a result. And Alex Salmon recovering after being sent around in last source. He's up to 4th place right now, so lucky boy there, Alex Salmon, as we see this was earlier on as he got passed into Blanchimont, so he's doing well. Alex Salmon recovering nicely in this race, and he's trying his best now because of course he's leading the championship, so he needs to get himself he needs to get as many points as he can within this fight. But he did well to get himself. That was of course looking back at the incident in La Source earlier on. And is recovered well now. Move for the lead, P2 Am. You can see that's Jason Marek. That's actually, sorry, Luke Pennington. That's trying to fend off Jonathan Keane now as they fight in front. Jason Marek is going to go for his opportunity. He's going to lose it into the wall. Jonathan Keane from the lead of P2 Am. And now they all managed to avoid it. But that was a strange incident there. He got a little bit out of shape on the exit. And now has put it in the wall. Jason Marek is your new leader in P2 Am. Strange incident there between. Let's have a quick look if we can see what happened again. Now that's Luke Pennington on the inside line, Jonathan Keane on the inside line, goes for the inside. Now there contact. Oh, I think it might be a bit of netcode there, Dane.
Yep, just a slight bit of netcode there and unsettled the car totally, and sent him around. He was actually a bit of an overcorrection for him. I think he might have just got a bit of a shock from the contact, not expecting it, and instinctively corrected a little bit too much, and that sent him into the wall. Yeah, real unfortunate for him, and that could have ended a lot worse though, because there were quite a few cars that managed to avoid him around there. He could have easily bounced back into the middle of the circuit, and that would have been a whole lot worse.
Yeah, absolutely it could. You can see now Lewis Woods has caught up to a big bunch of traffic and he's lost out big time. We're on board with Ishmael Yakubu. That car in front is Lewis Woods. So you can see Yakubu is really putting the pressure on him there. You can see the different lines taken through the bus stop chicane, and look at the speed of the LMP1s compared to the P2s, leaving them standing as they come into last source. Yakubu trying to go for some overtakes in the background, but this is the crucial part of the race now. Yakubu's got to try and get through the traffic as good as he possibly can as they come up to Eau Rouge and Radion. This is not a place where we really want to catch them at the moment. As Nathan Healy, that was a mistake coming out of the bus stop chicane, gets back going again. No harm done by the looks of it for Nathan, and he's now managed to get himself back going again, which is exactly what you want.
Just touch the grass.
Yep, just touch that grass, and very easy to do, but he gets back going again and gets himself back underway, which is exactly what you want. Here's now Jason Maracel, new leader in P2 Am, and he's now caught in the middle of the P2 Pros, and that behind him is Ishmael Yakubu, who's trying to get himself past, and he does do so at the same time. So through they go as they come into Pouon. Really decisive driving there from them. And Maracel still trying to get himself past Luke Pennington. These guys are not fighting for position in their classes, they're just fighting for overall position. That behind them now is the Porsche of Lennart Raert. He's trying to make his way through as well. The German trying to pick his moments here, going to get very close to the back of Maracel here. Outside line as they come through into Paul Frere, and manages to get past the both of them there at the same time. But Maracel leading, but about 1.3 seconds behind is Jackson Bell in second place in class, so he's not out of the woods yet, but look at all these LMP1s eating them up at the same time. You can see RAC Mantis coming through there. We're on board with Jackson Bell now. That's as they come through towards this next section. That's Arcadius Neumann in front of him. He's going to go for a move on the outside line, and he now sees his next target. So around the outside of Neumann he goes, and the next car in front of him is Jason Maracel for the lead. but you can see Neumann gets a run on the outside line, manages to stay in front to come down. You can see iRacing mount the slowdown penalty as you can see multiple cars going through there. Lewis Woods makes his way through the middle of all of them. This is really chaotic in this middle part of the race right now as all the traffic catches up with each other. But a huge stack up of cars now for the different parts of the race here. We're looking at Jackson Bell as he chases after Arcadius Neumann. The car in front of him is the guy that he's fighting for position with. Michael Seal is the next car that is behind him, but multiple cars still get to make their way through. You can see one of the LMP1s trying to get through there as well, but Jason Marcal still unable to get past guys there. Is Matteo Calistani, another overall position gain, gets past Kevin Kittleman, and Calistani is through in the 227. He's in 9th in class at the moment, so still has a bit of work to do, but he's catching up slowly but surely with the guys in front as they come into Brussels right now. We're 18 minutes into this race, so pit stops usually come around the half-hour mark, halfway through this race. There'll be just a fuel and go for all these guys. And you can see as they come down towards Pouon, Alistani now got a bit more work to do. Now we're looking at Loki Brown, and that battle in P1am is still ongoing between Brown and Sivi Zabo. And Loki Brown, he needs the points today. If he takes the win, then he's going to draw the gap down to Drozda very, very nicely heading into the final round. But Loki Brown and Sivi Zabo, I don't think there's going to be much hard fighting here as they are teammates. So Loki Brown still leading this one. Sivi Zabo 3/10 behind him as they head into the braking zone for the bus stop chicane now. Getting very close up underneath the rear wing of that Porsche in front of him. Now gets on the boost as they come out of the bus stop chicane. And now we head into Lasource, getting nice and close onto the back bumper of his teammate, but no way through for him just yet. Now down towards Eau Rouge Radion, getting in the slipstream now. I think Sivi Zabo could possibly be lining up an overtake here. You see 180 miles an hour through the apex and up and over the top of the hill they come. Now here comes Daniel Sivi Zabo. This is for the move for P1am lead. Lucky Brown does not defend. Daniel Sivi Zabo moves to the lead of the P1am category. Late on the brakes now. Lucky Brown tries to fight it on the outside, but he leaves the room for his teammate, and Daniel Sivi Zabo is your new leader in P1am. They can't afford to fight too much because that third spot, Mateusz Drozda, is on his way and coming fast at him. So we'll have to keep our eyes peeled on that one. This is a crucial fight for the championship as well. Shane Dunn, he's had a bit of a nasty one for Shane Dunn in the 394, and that's dropped him a bit down, but certainly now. But Sivi Zabo leads as Matt James comes in his LMP1, and that seems to be some rear end damage on that one.
Some front end damage on that one too. With that incident into the source there with the LMP2 car spinning around, Tim Perry was almost slamming into the side at that point. So we're just seeing what happened to Matt here in the 113.
Exactly. So he's got to now return back to pit lane. He's got a fast repair, of course. So he's going to come straight back out again. No problems. But he's going to drop right into the middle of the LMP2 field, which is not where you want to be in an LMP1, really. As just behind him there, that would be that's one of the P1ams. As now you can see that's Leonard Rart. And that, I imagine, that there is our leader in LMP2 Pros. Ooh, you see Matt James take it across the runoff into Eau Rouge and Radion. That's to go across the grass there, not ideal. As now this is a move for second in P2 Pro. This is Daniel Bucher trying to defend against Matteo Graziano, and he keeps himself in front for now. But Jakub Viderka is 3.3 seconds up the road from these guys as they fight it out. And the car of Lewis Woods is catching up to the back of them now in the background. As now we'll see what happened to Matt James here. Why did he take to the runoff? Did he just get it wrong here? Here we go. As he was trying to get out of the way of somebody actually coming up there and got on the curb and had a bit of a scary moment. But he's kept himself in check and keeps himself in front. But you can see just in front of him there was the move for second. Daniel Bucher making it on Graziano. But Matt James survives the fight another day, but not a great place to be caught in lap traffic. Right there, new leader Jackson Bell in P2 AM. He leads ahead of Jason Maracals. He's eventually got that move done and dusted. So let's see how he did it, Dane.
Yeah, we're just looking now. Oh, just very, very, very loose was Maracal there, out of the comp. Well, in the middle of the comp, and yeah, that just allows Jackson Bell right past, and he'll say thank you very much, I'll take the lead.
Yeah, exactly that. Just got himself out of shape. Just got on the curb there. He did well to save it, but Jackson Bell, absolutely, he'll take that any day. Mistake from anybody in front of him. So the 323 leads the P2 AM field now, as now we begin to see some pit stops for the LMP1s, although that's Matt James back in again. And Flavio Faguccio has pitted in his LMP1 from 4th in the P1 AM category. So we'll see now. This battle continues to rage on. Graziano coming back at Daniel Bucher here down into the braking zone for Lake Como. He's already in front, and he takes that position back from Daniel Bucher. So he's managed to retake it and stays in front now as they battle it out now. They're pretty comfortably in front of the cars behind. They've got about, they've got well over 12 seconds back to Skorupski in there, as now Michael Seal, he's fighting for 3rd place in his category. Kevin Kittleman is in front of him here as Maracal retakes it. Maracal retakes it down into Lake Como. That was close, down into the braking zone right there, but Maracal back in front once again. Calistani getting in the mix as well. He's in 9th in P2 Pro, but that was a great move from Jason Maracal. Very, very tight. But he's managed to retake it and get back in front of Jackson Bell, taking full advantage. But this battle is going to go. This battle is certainly not over as they come out a no-name corner, and we'll see now as they come into P1. Possible mistake for Daniel Civizalbo.
No.
Daniel Civizalbo from the lead of P1 AM. That is in Paul Frere curve, and he's put it in the wall down there and loses the lead.
And that is a heavily damaged Porsche 919 now. He's definitely going to have to backside through Blanchimont. How have they not ended up in the wall there? Contact was made, both of them getting loose, both of them somehow saving it.
Daniel Bucher going around the outside of Blanchimont sideways. I wonder, can we have a look at that again from Daniel Bucher on the outside of Matteo Graziano? That is about as close as you're going to want to get through there. Let's have a look at that again. That was spectacular from Daniel Bucher around the outside line here. You can see now, you can see a little mistake there. They go 3 abreast for a moment with Drozda, but this is where it gets tight now. He gives himself room. Bucher on the outside line into Blanchimont corner. You can see he's on the inside, goes around the outside. They make contact. He's sideways on around there, and he keeps his foot planted. And Daniel Bucher gets the move done into 2nd place. Great stuff from the German. And that's
what happened to Civizalbo. He's been turned around by Graziano, which is interesting. You don't normally see LMP2s punting LMP1s.
Yeah, that is new. So that was the cause of why Daniel Civizalbo ended up on the wall with heavy damage, and that is a real shame for our P1 AM leader. You can see, yep, just got into the back of him, and that's why Daniel Bucher was able to pull alongside and get the move done. It was a helping hand from him, but great stuff. But there's Civizalbo back in pit lane now. He will not be happy with that one. He was comfortably in the lead and has been taken out by an LMP2, which is a rare occurrence in this one. But Lewis Woods leading the P1 Pro. He's leading, of course, outright as well. Ishmael Yakubu is 2nd, but you can see Ishmael Yakubu faster than Lewis Woods on the previous lap by a couple of tenths. So it's back and forth between them. And it's Leonard Rart in 3rd and Alex Salmon in 4th, Hugo Valentin in 5th. Lucky Brown still in the lead of P1 AM, of course. And Mateusz Drozda, his championship rival, is now behind him. So this is now going to be an interesting fight if Drozda is able to get up to the back of him. So Lucky Brown, can he hang on to take 2 wins in a row? will be interesting. But Sibby's Albo's back out on the circuit, and we'll see if he's able to maybe get something out of this one. He took a win earlier on in the season, but unlucky there to be taken out by a lower class. There is Jakub Fedorka. He's led every single lap of his class. You can see that he's consistently lapping quicker than Daniel Bucher. Of course, he would have been helped by that battle earlier on between the both of them, but he's got 4.9 seconds. You can see how the gap has opened up over the course of a few laps. And you can see the gap really opening out as a result of the battle a lap or two ago to about 5 seconds between them. And Jason Marikal, he's still leading his fight, but he still has Jackson Bell right behind them, and they're exchanging lap times each time. So a 10th between them on the previous lap. You can see Jackson Bell still very much in the slipstream range of that car. And oh dear, Tim Perry is still in pit lane. He's our championship leader, don't forget. So he's going to lose big points in this one. But you can see Lewis Woods now 2.1 seconds. I think Ishmael Yakubu is making some inroads on him. We'll see the laps this time by 53.8 for Lewis Woods, and we'll see Ishmael Yakubu 53.5. So 3/10 and nearly 3/10 this time. But it seems Yakubu now is beginning to find some pace.
Yeah, that he is. He's closing up that gap quite a bit now. And he's just heading up Eau Rouge now, just behind one of the LMP2 drivers. And this is Drozda with a heavily damaged car heading down into the pits.
Yeah, definite rear end damage on Mateusz Drozda's car. You can see it on the right rear. And Drozda now, he's going to take a pit stop. We're kind of in that pit stop phase anyway for the LMP1, so it might not have come at a bad time for Drozda, even if he does have the damage. So he's now going to take his pit stop at the same time. But Lewis Woods now, he's opened the gap slightly, so traffic helping himself there as Alex Salmon, getting nearly caught up behind one of the cars there, the 384. He makes his way through, thankfully. Now, here is a battle for top 5 in class. This is Bruno Aguirre and Ward battling it out here for position. Heading up towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Getting the slipstream now, using the curb, getting a good run. He might be able to get it done here, Bruno Aguirre. Down the Kemmel straight. Lovely run that he gets. But he doesn't go for it, he backs off. Yeah, he lifts off, doesn't go for it. And is happy enough to sit behind the car in front. But these two are still together, Daniel Bucher and Matteo Graziano. And I think Graziano, I mean, he's probably still in shock at the move that was made by Daniel Bucher earlier on, around the outside of Blanchimont, with contact being made earlier on. So he's still going to be trying to process himself, or process what happened earlier on in that one. It's yeah, interesting stuff all the way through. Right Eppringham, right Eppringham in the 333. That's a nasty one for him.
He didn't even try and get out of it. He just took the toes straight away. He wasn't having any of that. Oh dear.
Yeah. Yeah, looks like it. And Collignon gets away with, yeah. You have to laugh at Ryan Eppringham there. He was not going to face the embarrassment of trying to, not getting an Austin Powers. That's Marikal from the lead of P2AM, has made an error down in Paul Frere and drops now to 4th in class behind Michael Seal. We just caught the end of that there, just going off into the gravel. No damage by the looks of it, just looks to be an error from Marikal. He's now dropped down to 4th in class and ending up in the gravel trap. Yeah, gets off into the gravel and has to rejoin right there. But he's managed to escape damage, which is the big thing for him. Jackson Bell has come into the pit lane, so he's taken his pit stop. But they're carrying on right now. But now it's kind of stacked the field a bit. There's Corey Edwards now with a chance at a podium. With Marikal in front of him, Michael Seal takes 2nd in class now. This is now getting a little bit interesting right now, but now we go back to your new leader in P2 Amp. Funnily enough, is Kevin Kittleman, who now leads this one ahead of Michael Seal by 3.2 seconds after Jackson Bell taking his pit stop, of course. So Kevin Kittleman, he's taken a win before, so he might be on for maybe an unexpected one today. At 32 minutes gone in this race, and yeah, right after him, resident Austin Powers of today, taking the tow and avoiding the embarrassment, but he's now carried on and gone over the top of Lake Com. And has he towed back to pit lane again? Yes, he has. So, poor old Ryan Effingham, he's not having a good day, is he?
No, he's not, and I think he might have just had enough for today, because he has been in the pits for just under a minute now, so yeah, I don't think he'll be taking any further part in today's race. We're only just over halfway through the race, so plenty of action still to come, of course. And some of the LMP1s now making their pit stops. There's not too much time left for the LMP1s to make their pit stops, you would imagine?
No, there's not actually, and we just saw the pit stop there for Loki Brown. Gets out well in front of Mateusz Drozda, which is exactly what he wanted. But these two still locked in battle, Daniel Bucher and Matteo Graziano, but they're going to now have that car, Mateusz Drozda, making his way through. Graziano will have a nice run here. Here comes Drozda on the outside. Graziano, what does he do here? He's going to get caught here. He can't go to the outside because there's a car there, so he has to back off. And Daniel Bucher now a little bit close to the back of Drozda, but Graziano having to back out of it because of Drozda being on the outside line this time. Lewis Woods happy to carry on, as is Ismail Kubu, as is one of the other LP1s there. What does Leonard Rarter? Does he come in? No, they're happy to carry on. As is Alex Salmon, who's making a great recovery drive, it has to be said, coming up to the back of them. And there's Hugo Valentin, fifth in class. He's a little ways behind, but Alex Salmon doing a really nice job. You can see now how long they've gone on their pit stops. So Loki Brown, they've managed to start. Loki Brown stopped on lap 17 and he's made it in. But these guys have gone a little bit longer. Flavio Ferruccio taking a very early stop in on lap 12, and he's carrying on right now. But none of the guys in the top 5 have pitted yet. As we go now to the battle for second in class. We just saw Alex Salmon going around the outside and Leonard Rart into Lake Com, and he's now up to third, but Leonard, he's punted him! Oh, what a save from Alex Salmon! How has he saved that? Keeps it in check, but there was contact between Leonard Rart and Alex Salmon. Oh, this is such a race today. But Alex Salmon, right, so he managed to get the overtake done around the outside of Lake Com on Leonard Rart, so we're going to see that now in just a second. Salmon goes around the outside line here. There he goes, and Rart, what happens here? He goes for a switchback line, and he sends him around. But Alex Salmon did so well. How did he save that?
That was a very impressive save. I think Leonard Rart just misjudged that slightly. You could see what he was trying to do there, just trying to use the boost and get that cut back. It's very effective with the boost that you have in MP1, but Salmon was a bit slower than he thought on the apex. And what a save!
I actually think he got a second touch from Leonard Rart, which has managed to get him back pointed. But either way, the great reactions from there now. We can see this battle still carrying on. Bucher getting very close to the back of Graziano into the break-ins over Brussels. These guys are having a fantastic scrap. But Alex Salmon now in the pit lane. As a result of that, he will have damage from that. But yeah, great stuff all the way through from these guys. But yeah, Leonard Rart with the misjudgment on the cutback. But a fantastic bit of driving from Alex Salmon to get it pointed back in the right direction. But this battle for second raging on, 7 seconds up to Jakob Verdurken now between these guys. So their fighting is costing them a big chunk of time. Into Paul Frere. They will go once again. Salmon coming out of the pit lane now, so he's rejoining after his pit stop with damage. I'm sure he would have taken a repair as well. Out he comes, as Nathan Healy just comes out next to and gets in front of him just before they get up the run to Eau Rouge and Radion. But It's been chaotic all the way through this race. Lewis Woods still leading, Jakub Viderka pitting from the lead of LMP2. And Dane, this is a little bit unusual because we normally see the P2s pit before the P1s, but the P1s are really going long today.
Yeah, it's unusual. We saw last week at Le Mans quite a few of the drivers pitting early, and that allowed Salmon to get the overcut on them. But yeah, not this time. They're all staying out as long as possible. So interesting change in strategy from the rest of the season, really. We've seen early pit stops for most of the season. And yeah, they're leaving it until as late as possible. They're just coming through the bus stop now. And I think someone's just actually spun in the bus stop there. And there is.
Yeah, Michael Seal, who was running in third in class, just coming into the pit lane, drops it. And now, on cue, Lennart Raart, the first of the leaders to pit. He comes in. And yeah, it was Michael Seal who did go around in that bus stop chicane, who from third in class. Ooh. But, ooh, yeah, Lennart Raart had to take some avoiding action there, and he gets through, thankfully. Now he's into his pit box at the end of the pit lane there. Lennart Raart says, oh, problem for Sasha Lowe. I think he's had a bit of a spin in Brussels and has got back going again. Looks to be clear of damage. But yes, there is a car somewhere there behind the pace truck. And Lennart Raart on his way out of the pit lane. Still can't see him. There he is, just behind the wall, and comes out now in front of Alex Salmon. Not what Alex Salmon would have wanted, but he has come out there. And there's Kevin Kittelman, who was our leader in P2M. But of course, Jason Maracala has carried on for an extra lap. So there's going to be a pit stop strategy battle going on between those two when we get through. But there is Alex Salmon, who was much further up, got taken around in La Source earlier on in the race in lap number 1 actually, but he's now 48 seconds off the lead. Lewis Woods still no pit stop yet, but surely got to be coming in now. Matteo Graziano, he pits from the lead of LMP2 Pro, and of course the overall leader in that one is Jakub Viderka, who is the first man to have stopped out of all of those. David Ward, he's second in class. He's going to be peeling into the pit lane and imagine following the lead of Graziano. Indeed he does in the 269. And there is Arcadius Neumann, who's about to peel into pit. And Lewis Woods from the lead comes in. Ishmael Yakubu follows him. And Hugo Valentin is going to follow him in as well. But now, we're watching to see what the gap's going to be when we come to the exit of the pit lane between Lewis Woods and a couple of others right now. Here comes Hugo Valentin. He's going to peel into the pit lane and take his pit stop here in Spa. Jakub Viderka goes to the lead now as he rejoins. Matteo Graziano is going to rejoin behind Daniel Bucher. Or well, it's going to be quite close between the big out in front of Daniel Bucher, which is exactly what he wanted, but a bigger gap now. So now here comes out of the pit lane. Here comes Lewis Woods, and he is comfortably out in front of everyone. Valentin is still in the pit box here, and there is Lennart Raart and Yakubu comfortably out in front of him as well. So Alex Salmon, is he going to come out now in 4th or in 5th? There he goes around the outside. He is going to get out in front of Hugo Valentin, I think, and indeed he does. So he's up to 4th. Alex Salmon, he's going to get past both of these LMP2s as they come through. Out of the pit lane they come. This is going to be very tight now. Jason Maracala, he does take the lead, retakes it in the pit stops. Kevin Kittelman is behind him in that, just in the car behind. And you can see now order returns as we see now Luke Pennington up the inside of Arcadius Neumann takes 7th in class there in the 274. A little bit of an oversteer through there, and Neumann trying for a cutback line, gets very close up to the back of him, doesn't make contact, gets very close in the braking zone again, is just wincing every time we look at it because we've seen so many instances between cars that have gone late on the brakes in there, but keeping it clean, Arcadius Neumann and Luke Pennington in this race, but Pennington coming out on top as LMP1 makes his way past at the same time through P1. That is Hugo Valentin
here.
His way through.
We could see Ascend. He had a bit of a better run. He has gone for it, but around the outside wasn't really ever going to work. He has to settle for 8th, but he's all over the back of him, and you can tell he's also got Kalistani just behind too. and Blinek just behind as well. So this train of 4 cars now. You would imagine that the other 2 behind are going to start closing in on them, especially if they start battling really hard.
Yeah, absolutely. As now you can see Neumann with a great run through Blanchimont, gets very close to the back of the car in front. He goes for the outside line for the bus stop chicane, late on the brakes. That'll turn to the inside for the second part. Is there going to be contact? No, they leave each other plenty of room. Neumann gets it done. Kalistani's now involved. Maciek Mlynek's involved as well, but Pennington gets back in front with the run. Here comes Kalistani. He's going to try and get past the both of them here to come into La Source. Gets late on the brakes. Neumann on the outside line. Now switchback line for Kalistani. Gets up underneath one of them, but they're now going to go side by side up Eau Rouge and Radion. You can see on the outside line for Eau Rouge, 2 by 2 they go. Pennington on the outside as they come through. Who's going to blink first? It's going to be Neumann in front. Mlynek moves in front of him now, and Mlynek gets 1. Can he get 2? Yes, he can. He's going to get past Pennington here and get in the run of Neumann at the same time in the 296 as well. Gets past Pennington as they come into the brakes over Lake Com. Can he get past 3 maybe onto the brakes? No, can't get the 3rd, but makes a double overtake. And Kalistani goes for a send on Pennington, contact, but they manage to sort themselves out. Pennington in front, Kalistani around the outside as they come down towards Brussels. This is fantastic racing between these guys in the mid-pack of LMP2 Pro. Kalistani sends it around the outside, but can he get it done on the outside? Turns to the inside for No Name, but Pennington is in front. That was chaotic, that was great racing.
Yeah, Kalistani got held up out of the source. And yeah, there was nowhere for him to go. That's why he ended up down in 10th. He actually got quite a better exit out of the source, but then just got held up by the cars in front of him, and that allowed Mlynek to get past as well. So that's why he's dropped back down into 10th, unfortunately for him, but he's all over the rear of Pennington now. And you would expect that he's going to try and maybe make a move into the bus stop. He's very close. They head up down that backstretch now.
Yeah, it certainly is. As we, of course, keep an eye on proceedings all the way through the field here. We can see now. Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely does. Now this battle rages on. Kalistani goes around the outside of the bus stop chicane on Pennington. Pennington will have the run on the outside again. There's a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact, but again they go side by side on the exit. Pennington gets back in front as they come into the braking zone for La Source for the 22nd time of asking the P2 field. And Kalistani goes wide, goes for a wider line to get a better run out of the corner. And will he get the run up Eau Rouge and Radion? Is he going to go for it here? He thinks about it. Yes, he is. Inside line for Eau Rouge and Radion. Side by side they go. Up the hill they go. Kalistani backs out of it, and one of the LMP1s has to try and make their way through at the same time up through there, but they somehow don't crash, and the 124 gets through in class as well. Maciek Mlynek gets past Neumann into 7th as well. Remember, Maciek Mlynek was in the barriers on the exit of Brussels on lap number 1, and he's recovered now to 7th. So great job for the 296 in this one. You, of course, just for a moment there, you saw that the track conditions, the track details up on the right hand side right there, provided of course by SDK Gaming. You can check out for your own streams. You can check that out, sdkgaming.co.uk. There on cue, there is your track details. 73 degrees air temperature Fahrenheit, air temperature, sorry, 80 degrees Fahrenheit on the track, and the wind speeds and everything provided for you. sdk-gaming.co.uk for if you want to check that out, of course. As this battle between Pennington and Kalistani carries on. That was Mateusz Drozd, I believe, just getting past them in class. The 112, and he gets past safely. Believe it or not, there's only 14 minutes left in this race. It had absolutely flown past with this brilliant racing we've had all the way through, and possibly the championships could have been turned upside down as a result of what's happened. As we see Luke Pennington now trying to keep himself in front of Kalistani, but look at the run Kalistani's got on him. Where does he go this time? It's again going to be the outside for Kalistani, and he gets shown the outside by Luke Pennington. No way through again. Little bit deep from Pennington. Kalistani's going to try and get that undercut line. gets on the power nicely, gets a good run towards La Source again. He might have him here as they come into La Source again. 274 goes defensive. Calistani going to go wide and go for that switchback line, which he does get beautifully. On the power he goes in the 227. Will he get the same kind of run that he got before? Slipstream down towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Does he go for it this time? I don't think so. He's going to sit behind and wait for the Kemmel straight here. Up Eau Rouge, over the top of Radion. Good run from him here. Gets very close to the back of the car in front. Outside line for the Kemmel straight in the 227. 274 holds the inside. Calistani's a nose in front as they get into the braking zone for the Laycombe, but Calistani eventually gets himself in front.
Yep, good move. This time learned from his mistake on the last lap, pulling out before Eau Rouge. He stuck behind that time and got the run all the way down the Kemmel straight. And that worked very well for him. Keen now with Holman just ahead, and he's not trying to make a move, he's just chilling behind him. But that's not chilling behind, that's Vandenberg, Marcel Vandenberg, getting past Seal.
Yep, getting past Michael Seal, Aries Mantis in the LMP1 getting past at the same time. Just trying to make his way cleanly through past these guys. Just a quick update as well. I remember Tim Perry, who was in the barrier just in this very corner. He's 5th. He's made it back to the top 5. I remember Alex Moore with the damage, 4th in front of him. So there is 2 seconds between those guys, and they're fighting for the championship, of course. So interesting stuff to keep our eyes on as we're having a quick look to something that has happened to Daniel Bucher. Remember that fight that was going on between himself and Graziano, and Daniel Bucher still hanging on to that position, but well, actually no, he loses out to Graziano, of course, but there's now 2 seconds between them. But now look at this, Lennart Rart under pressure from Alex Salmon. Remember what happened last time between these two, and Alex Salmon's now re-caught him, and he now is going to have a point to prove. He got sent, well, he almost got sent around, but with an absolutely mega save, saved him from getting into the wall. But now Lennart Roth's going to have to try and defend from this man, our championship leader, who's now trying to get himself on the podium. But this will now pretty much basically put an end to Lennart Roth's championship hopes if Alex Salmon gets in front of him, because Alex Salmon will have a big lead going into the final round. It'll still be possible, but it'll be a big ask for Lennart Roth to try and take the championship in the final round, which is of course next week. So the 18 in the Porsche, it looks like it's not going to be 2 wins in a row for him, but it could well be a double podium. But he's going to have to fend off Alex Salmon, who has he's put on a hell of a recovery drive. I'll give it to Alex Salmon after everything that's happened, but he's having to negotiate some traffic quite around the outside there. But let's see what Alex Salmon does now. He went around the outside last time, but I think now he's going to be a little bit more assertive.
Yeah, and also remember, he was struggling with some rear damage before that initial incident between the two of them from lap 1. As Valentin is heading into the pits, but he already had damage, Alex Salmon, so that wasn't helping him at all. So potentially could be even faster than he was earlier on. You can see just how close he is now, 0.2 of a second, just over 1/3 of a second is the gap between Lennart Roth and Alex Salmon. Just over 9 minutes to go left in the race. You expect Alex to have a crack at it at least a couple times.
Yeah, he'll certainly want to get himself back on the podium. I think he'll take that as a great result after everything that's happened today as well. By the way, for all of you at home, if you want to keep up with the live time, you can do so. The link is, of course, in the live chat. You can follow that in your browser. Just click the link, apexracingtv.com/live timing, and you can keep up to date with the track map and the positions of everyone on the circuit at any point in time. You can do that from your browser, so keep an eye on that if you are in chat. You can open that up in another tab just to add another element to the broadcast to see what is going on the whole way through. But Alex Salmon, 0.8 of a second behind Lennart Roth in the Porsche, and let's see if he can do anything to get himself on the 3rd step of the podium today. It'll be a great feat for him if he does do so. But we have about 8 minutes left in this race. So still plenty of time. Well, actually not plenty of time, but there's not many laps left for Alex Salmon to try and get a move on past him here. So let's see now, Marcel Vandenberg, sorry, in the 2:36. Marco Barbonero furiously laughing in our ears. so Vandenberg amusing him greatly, which is what we like. But Lennart Rart, now he's under severe pressure. He's lapping one of the cars in front, but here comes Salmon up the middle, and he gets it done. What a move from Alex Salmon. That was assertive. That was similar to what Lennart Rart did to him last week, and had the confidence to just absolutely send it. Great stuff from Alex Salmon.
Is he now low on boost though is the question. Rat's going to come straight back at him now, down the inside. Salmon is going to have to try and hold it around the outside of the off-camber corner. Very difficult to do, but he's managed to just about do it. Into No Name they go. Salmon will have the inside line. And Lennart Rat just about gets the position back, but now Salmon right on the back of him now. Less than 2 tenths between the two of them now as they head into Puon and now towards the fan. He's alongside. He's going to use this boost. They're still side by side, but into the braking zone once more. Salmon can't quite hold it around the outside.
Great scrap there, the fair racing all the way through, gave each other space through No Name. Not easy to go side by side through there, but now look at the leaders. Ismail Yakubu has caught Lewis Woods by a big margin, and look at that, you can see 1.1 seconds he's gained on Lewis Woods out front. And this is now, there's a battle for each position in class now. Salmon again with the run through Blanchimont. Outside line for him for the bus stop chicane. Rart goes late on the brakes. And it's going to have to be another line-up move here for Salmon. What does he do? Where does he go for it? He went up the middle through the Kemmel Straight last time, but Rart got him straight back into Brussels. So this is going to be fascinating stuff. The last 7 minutes don't go anywhere, folks at home. This is going to be a great finish. But now, we of course have the lead battle as well. Lewis Woods versus Ismail Yakubu for the win. And Yakubu has not had a win this season, so he'll be wanting to try and get one here. It's up Eau Rouge and Radion. Lennart Rart versus Alex Salmon. Does Salmon use the boost? I think he does. Yes, he does. Outside line. And can he boost past that Porsche? Yes, he can. Alex Salmon into third place, but that battle is not going to be done at all as we head into the dying few minutes of this race. Catches some traffic now. Alex Salmon gets caught up a little bit on the exit through there. Here comes Lennart Rart now with a good run towards Brussels. Salmon covers him off on the inside line, but he has to follow him through. No way, no gap shown for him there. The 394 now. Salmon goes for it on the inside and No Name leaves the door open as well for Rart, who's now going to get him on the exit maybe as they head towards Puon. Inside line into Puon. Lennart Rart goes for it on the inside, side by side through Puon. Around the outside, Alex Salmon. They leave each other plenty of space and Rart gets it done. But Salmon towards the Fandi chicane. Outside line for him now. Can he sweep around the outside? No, he can't. But Rart's got a spectacular move done. And Salmon did his best to try and hang on to that one around the outside of Puon. But this is brilliant racing between the both of these guys, considering they made contact earlier on. This is fantastic, phenomenal racing, and we still have yet to have the battle for the race win. But Dane, there's only 5 minutes left. What's going to happen here?
I don't think anyone could answer that question at the moment. Half a second separating the top two, less than half a second separating the top two, and also the third and fourth with Rart and Salmon as well. There might only be a small LMP1 field, but boy, do they give us some good racing.
Absolutely they do. There's your leaders in each class. Lewis Woods in P1 Pro, Loki Brown in P1 Am, Jakob Verdurke in P2 Pro, and Jason Marakal in P2 Am. But you can see traffic now beginning to play a factor in the lead battle as well. Lewis Woods still leading this one. He's led pretty much the entire race so far. How heartbreaking would it be to lose it in the dying few minutes? Back to Lennart Rart and Alex Salmon again. Up Eau Rouge and Radion, again they go. Salmon's going to go for it at the same place he went for it last time down the Kemmel Straight. Does he have enough to get in front of Rart this time? Yes, he does. So he slots back in front, but that's not going to be over. Remember what happened last lap. Rart gets it now through Lake Com. Great run he gets through there. Has great confidence in that Porsche. Now down towards Brussels again. He gets a great run. Has the inside. That gives him a squeeze into Brussels. Salmon shuts the door firmly on in there. And now you can see the LMP2s now beginning to play their factor as well. They managed to get through unscathed. But wow, this is phenomenal in the dying few moments. Lennart Rott again, does he go for it? He went for it last time into Pouon, but he's not going to have it this time. Traffic gets in the way as they head into Pouon again. But you cannot take your eyes off this at any point. And Alex Salmon, he's in front for now, but for how much longer is the question. Can he keep it in front after this one? And Lennart Rott's going to give it absolutely everything as... oh, don't tell me there's a battle for the lead at P1am as well. Lucky Brown and Drozda are 7/10 of a second apart now. And look, this is now also a battle for the championship as well. Lucky Brown is trying to gain points on Mateusz Drozda, and Drozda is now right behind him in this one as well. So all of a sudden, everything's happening at the same time on track here in Spa. It never disappoints. And you can see now, back to the front, 3 minutes to go. So that's about 2 laps left to go in this race. Lewis Woods has led every single lap of this 1 hour race. And Ishmael Yakubu, though, is chasing him down. He wants to try and take that win off, but of course they are teammates. So he won't go for anything too untoward on this teammate, but if there is a gap, he will certainly go for it. Oh, he's made an error. Ishmael Yakubu runs off the run. He makes an error. Does he keep it on the track? Yes, he does, but that's going to give Lewis Woods the breathing space he needs. He was trying to go for a dive on the car in front, but just overcooked it, and Lewis Woods now surely has it in the bag. Alex Salmon has built a second lead for Lennart Rott, but I wouldn't be surprised if Lennart Rott is saving some boost to go for it on the last lap. Remember what he did in Le Mans? He could still easily try and get past Alex Salmon again, but it should be the white flag next time by for our leaders. So it's now we get a little bit of a breather before we head to the last lap. But Rart is still there, still very much there. He's your leader in P1am. Still Lucky Brown from Drozda. Drozda not gaining on that previous lap by, so Lucky Brown matching him. And I think that was obviously a bit of traffic that affected Loki Brown. It brings it out to 1.1 seconds, but he can't afford a mistake. But look at these two again. Lewis was 3.2. Yeah, Salmon and Rart are very close together. It should be the white flag now for our leaders, but here comes Lennart Rart in the slipstream down towards Blanchimont. White flags in the air here in Spa. Now, does he stay behind and go for it later on? He's backed out of it there. You can see through Blanchimont. Salmon maybe using a bit of boost as well to keep himself in front. But here we go. Oh, Salmon a bit deep into the bus stop chicane as well. Rart will have seen that, but now the white flag in the air. The battle for the podium is the one we are going to keep our eyes on here as they head into La Source for the last time. These two have been scrapping so well. They did make contact, of course, but they certainly made up for it with the move, the racing they had. Now, past the traffic, Alex Salmon gets cleanly past the LMP2 in the way. Rart should cleanly get past as well, but 0.8 of a second now the gap opens out to for that Porsche, and he's now got more work to do. So Salmon using up probably a lot of his boost to open it out to a second down that straight. So Rart's going to have to work very hard in this middle sector to close up to Salmon. He got very close in that final sector, so this is definitely not over until we get to the flag between these two. Salmon in front for now into Nona, but look how close Rart's getting in this middle sector. Very strong, the Porsche in this sector. Down towards Pouon, he's firmly in the back bumper of that LMP1 in front of him. Through Pouon he goes. He's very close as they come towards Lafania chicane. Traffic getting in the way though, maybe for him. He's not going to go for it here, I would imagine. Salmon is saving up some boost as well before they come towards Blanchimont. He gets it almost on the back of him through Lafania chicane. Now towards Paul Frere. Outside, sweeps it around the outside. He goes for it, but he doesn't have the run that he needs, and Salmon fends him off. Meanwhile, into the bus stop chicane, every single lap, perfect run. Lewis Woods wins in Spa. He wins round 5 of the ARL Prototypes Championship, but who's going to get third? It may well be Alex Salmon. I think he's done enough. Ishmael Yakubu is second into the bus stop chicane for the last time. Alex Salmon, he really had to fight for it this week. Through the last corner they come. It's going to be a run for the line, but it should be Alex Salmon who takes third. Yes, he does. Lennart Rart finishes in fourth. And now, is it going to be Loki Brown to take this P1am victory? I think it will be. So the championship there is definitely going to go down to the last round between Loki Brown and Matthias Drozda. So great stuff. Meanwhile, P2AM, Jason Maracalo has won that one. Kevin Kittleman is second, and Tim Perry gets on the podium as well. Great recovery from Tim Perry to get back on the podium there. Loki Brown, 2 wins in a row. He wins in Spa. Matthias Drozda finishes in second. Hugo Valentin will get 5th in class. Flavio Figuccio on the podium as well. And a perfect day at the office as well for this man, Jakub Widerka. Maciek Mlinek, his championship rival, down in 6th, so he opens the gap out in the championship in the P2 Pro category. He's got a great chance to try and take the championship next week. So Jakub Widerka, P2 Pro victor here in Spa. Matteo Graziano in the background, he takes 2nd, and it'll be Daniel Bucher in 3rd. But there you can see, look at all the RLR Brazil cars, 3 abreast down the straight, domination from them in this one. And respect being shown as well between them as well. But formation down the straight, it's pretty good. But there's Jason Maracalo as well, taking the victory in P2AM. Good job from him. But, oh, Dane, what a race we had.
Yeah, that was a pretty intense race throughout in NMP2. But then in the final 10-15 minutes or so, NMP1s really took that time to shine. And yeah, awesome racing between quite a few of the drivers there. Yeah, Alex Hammond fully deserving of that 3rd place, but Leonard Rott would also be. Both of them absolutely insane racing between the 2 of them. Alex Hammond getting his way back up to 3rd after that lap 1 incident as well. So good job from him. But Lewis Woods, he was just out front, and he just had the consistency. He managed to stay out there the entire race. Didn't have too much threat behind until near the end. And then, of course, Ishmael went off. But yeah, he did a fantastic job, and he took the win.
So Lewis Woods takes the win here in Spa. Ishmael Yakubu is 2nd. Alex Salmon, he gets himself in between all those RLR Brazil Esports guys. He gets himself in 3rd for OCM Racing. Leonard Rart in 4th, but what a scrap those 2 guys had. Hugo Valentin in 5th, and Mark Hutchison, a non-finisher in this one, of course, after his steering wheel failure on the way into Pouon. But yeah, great stuff from Lewis Woods, the Scotsman in the 45, taking the win in the P1 Pro category. Double winner as well for P1AM, of course. Loki Brown was your winner in that one. Matthias Drozda in 2nd. Flavio Figuccio taking a 3rd as well. Daniel Civizawa, disappointing for him in 4th place after the being taken out by an LP2. Ari Simantis in 5th, and Matt James not finishing this race as well. P2 Pro, Jakub Widerka getting himself a win. Matteo Graziano in 2nd, and Daniel Bucher in 3rd. What a scrap those 2 had as well. Then it was Krzysztof Skorupski in 4th, and David Ward in 5th. Maciek Mlinek recovering to 6th. Great drive from Maciek Mlinek. Bruno Aguirre, Arcadius Neumann, Matteo Calistani, and Luke Pennington. James Holman in 11th, Marcel Vandenberg, Mark Sweethoff, Brian Cavito, and Seb Tunnison in 15th, who did not finish this race either. P2AM, Jason Maracale winning this one. Kevin Kittleman in 2nd. And how about Tim Perry? What a recovery from Tim Perry. Recovering to the podium. Corey Edwards is 4th. Michael Seal in 5th. Jackson Bell in 6th. Charles Collignon in 7th. Craig Jones, Jonathan Keenan, Alex Moore could only manage 10th in the end. He had an opportunity, but he couldn't make it work. Shane Dunn, Marcel Leclerc, Joost Baumeister, Nathan Healy, Sasha Lowe, and Ryan Eppringham in 16th. Our resident Austin Powers for this week, who of course lodged it in the pit lane, but towed it away, so didn't manage to impede anybody, thankfully, in that one. So we will have obviously some of our drivers ready and waiting in the interview waiting areas. Looking forward to hearing from them. Well, we have actually 2 of our LMP1 drivers are standing by in the interview waiting area. We have our race winner. We'll have a chat with him first. We'll have a chat now with Lewis Woods. Let's drag in Lewis here. Lewis, welcome to the commentary box. Lights to flag victory. I'm sure you made it look easy, but I'm sure it really wasn't.
Um, it was quite easy from the start. Leonard was about 15 kph slow on the straight, so he let both of us through. I made it a little bit interesting for myself by going off, but I had no damage, so that was good. Then I just cruised to the finish. Ismail made it a little bit more sweaty by being quite quick, but yeah, I think I had a bit of an unlucky moment with traffic, so took the win.
Absolutely, it looked pretty hectic out there. Is the we're obviously seeing Leonard in the Porsche and the Audis around him. Is it really the case that the Audi is just the strongest car around here?
Yeah, the only way that the Porsche can keep up is either what Leonard did with a lower high downforce package, but even then it's not much faster in the corners and it's way slower in the straights, or you can run a low downforce package where you're unstoppable on the straights and you park it on the corners, but that's no fun to drive. So yeah, it's not really much of a challenge, unfortunately.
Yeah, pity for him. But we're heading into the final round next week, Lewis. We're 5 rounds in. How have you enjoyed the season so far? Have you enjoyed the racing, and how would you rate your own performances overall?
At the start, I had a bit of unlucky moments with traffic, which was a bit of a shame. But the racing's been quite fun, racing Alex and our teammates. Yeah, having the broadcast is obviously a really nice thing. Yeah, it's been fun.
Absolutely. Well, before we let go, Alex, sorry, not Alex, Lewis, is there anyone that you'd like to give a quick thank you to while we're on stream?
My teammates, Leonard, Ismail, Hugo, the LMP2 boys as well for keeping it clean, our sponsors as well.
Excellent stuff. Well, Lewis, thanks very much for hopping in with us. Congratulations on your victory, and hopefully we'll be chatting to you next week again. So that was Lewis Woods hopping in for a quick chat right there. Dane, I'll leave you to your usual suspect, Alex Salmon, waiting for you.
Yeah, and he joins us now. Alex. You always seem to give us some good racing in the LMP1 field. It's a small field in the LMP1s, but yeah, like I said, always fantastic racing. And today, no exception. You found yourself facing the wrong way after turn 1, but then fighting your way back up to third.
Yeah, that was fun. I obviously I don't like starting from the back or ending up at the back at the end of turn 1, but yeah, coming back through the pack was quite fun. It was my mistake, I think, putting myself in that position. I got a bit confused with the start because Ishmael had kind of dropped back from Leonard, making me think Leonard had gone. And then I realized he didn't, dropped back to get back in line by turn 1 to make sure I wasn't breaking any rules, and then got veered from behind. I think Mateus said it was just a bit of contact, but further back that he kind of netcoded into me. So unfortunate, but yeah.
Yeah, it was quite interesting to watch at the start of the race. I did see you floor it and then realise, oh no, they haven't gone. Try and file back in. But yeah, you managed to get back just in time, I think. But yeah, that was an interesting start to the race. But then you managed to slowly catch up the gap to Leonard, and then a little bit of contact between the two of you when you tried to get past him the first time. Took a pit stop. I would assume that was just within the pit window, so you could take fuel on as well with your repair. And then you caught back up to him, and then probably the battle of the season.
So far. Yeah, it was good fun. Yeah, that just shows, like, if you ever want to know the difference between a normal circuit, the difference between a Porsche and an Audi, that's it right there. Leonard's, I'm pretty sure, on HDF, high downforce trim, so that thing is a sitting duck on the straights, but the second it gets to a corner, it's on rails. So it was really difficult trying to get my car in the right place. I think what happened with the contact was just I'd been so quick down the straight, but obviously when I get to a corner, I'm really slow and tiptoeing it, and I think he didn't realise that and just hit the back of me, and it is what it is. Used my fast repair first time this season, and yeah, I got back out and just kind of put my head down and went for it, which was fun.
Yeah, and then back and forth between you for multiple laps. Like you said, you got him pretty easily down the Camel Straight, but then in the corners, traffic didn't help you out too much either. But yeah, just seeing the replay of your lap 1 incident actually, and it does look like quite a bit of netcode involved in that, unfortunately. But yeah, it was very, very good to watch between you and Leonard. But Jack and I are on the edge of our seats once again. You did the same thing at Le Mans last week, and now at Spa too. So thanks for that. You make our job as commentators much easier.
I'm just doing it for the highlight reel.
Well, you made it this morning on Apex TV social media platforms. So yeah, for the viewers, go and check that out. You get highlights of the races and notifications before we go live. All good stuff for Apex Racing TV. But Alex Salmon, 3rd place today. Must be pretty happy with that. Thanks so much for joining us for a quick chat. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, Taylor Mills once again for being awesome. She was my eye in the sky again. And yeah, the guys at OCM Racing. And yeah, they've been a real help this week, so it's been awesome.
Well, Alex, hopefully we get to see you next week for the finale. It should be a good one.
Yeah, should be fun. Thank you.
Well, it was great to hear from Alex, and I think, Jack, we've got time for one more.
I think we do indeed have time for one more. We have our P2AM 3rd place man, and of course our championship leader in that. We have Tim Perry joining us for the first time this season. Tim Perry, I think it's the first time we've spoken this season, but I mean, that was pretty much as chaotic as you can get. Sent around in Brussels in the wall and somehow recovering to a podium spot. Just talk us through that.
Well, it's actually the second time, because first time was after Monza when I won that race. But yeah, this race was absolutely crazy. It was I qualified really well, and I thought, oh great, loads of cars between me and the other Rams. Yeah, and at the end of lap 1, I was right at the back, so it was it all went a bit disastrously wrong in there. But it was kind of a fun race in the end, working my way through the traffic. This car and track combination is just absolutely brilliant. It's just, the car was made for this track. It just feels brilliant, and it was quite fun working my way through the cars once I'd got the car actually fixed and kind of back to its best shape.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, now you're leading the championship P2AM. You've managed to extend the gap heading into next week. So looking forward to next week, thinking you can wrap it up next week?
Yeah, I was half hoping I'd be able to do it this week, to be honest, and not have the pressure of going into that last showdown. But yeah, things didn't quite work out that way today. But yeah, it should be interesting, and it's always good when championships come down to the last race of the season. So yeah, it should be good fun.
And of course, it is the final round next week. We know that, of course. But yeah, just talk us through how have you enjoyed the season so far in these prototypes? It's one of the first times we've run a championship like this. How have you found it overall?
Yeah, it's been brilliant. Actually, it's been quite surprising because I certainly didn't expect to be up there in the championship. I didn't actually own the car a week before the season started, so it was a real jump into the unknown. But yeah, I've really enjoyed the car and really enjoyed the series, and yeah, it's been really motivating to practice and that, and got a great team behind me, so that always helps as well.
Great stuff. Well, Tim, before we let you go, is there anyone would like to say a quick thank you to while we're on stream, of course?
Yeah, well, basically to the team. I think this has wrapped up the AM Team Championship for us, and it's our first kind of broadcasted league we've really taken part in as a team. So yeah, to have to win on our first outing is absolutely brilliant. So big thanks to Yus and Jonathan for their solid performances as well.
Great stuff. Well, Tim, thanks very much for joining us. Hopefully we'll be chatting to you next week as the P2AM champion. But yeah, well done today. Congratulations on the recovery drive.
Cheers, thank you very much.
So that was Tim Perry, the third place man from today and our championship leader heading into next week. So yes, you heard it right. It is the final round next week, believe it or not, the sixth and final one. And we'll be back, of course, next week at the exact same time, so on Apex Racing TV. So make sure you tune in for that 8 o'clock UK time. We're really looking forward to rounding out this championship. I've really enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll get a good championship fight to the end. We'll be crowning 4 champions next week, 4 in each of the classes. And of course, we're pretty sure who's going to take most of them, but anything can happen in that final round, of course. And of course, stewards' inquiries and all that kind of stuff has to be taken into account. But from all of us here at Apex Racing TV, thanks very much to Dane for joining me. Thanks very much to Marco, as well as always working hard on the cameras. And we will chat to you all next week at the same time, 8 o'clock UK, for the final round of the Apex Racing League Prototype Championships. Thank you for watching, and good night.